Hello, all. The Irrational Skeptic here, and today I just wanted to do a reaction video to something I saw not too long ago. It was a video between, it was a debate that had four people on stage, but I want to respond specifically to what went on between Jordan Peterson and Michael Dyson. So it was a debate about political correctness, and Michael Dyson was on the side of being for political correctness, and Jordan Peterson was on the side of being against it. But in the broader picture, what this debate was really about was on whether the left is getting anything accomplished with the PC culture that they are pushing. Um, and so within this culture, we have things like the Me Too movement. We have things like Black Lives Matter. We have, I mean, these are all movements under that sort of banner completely. But what I'm responding to specifically was Michael Dyson's very appalling use of language. He called Jordan Peterson a mean, angry white man, and this was quite uncalled for. I was very surprised when he used that phrase because for someone that's been watching a lot of Jordan Peterson, he seems anything but an angry person. He seems to maybe he gets a little bit irritable, but people usually don't uh, play fair with him. They kind of mostly when debating him talk down to him or uh, say that he's just pulling stuff out of his ass. While it is not the case, he kind of always quotes a lot of research that he's looked at for many of his claims. And though when he gets into the religious aspects, he does have his own interpretation of archetypal figures in all religions, but this is also historically based. He has done a lot of research on the Christian religion specifically, and he draws a lot of analogies to contemporary art, um, to Disney, from Disney to Hollywood. He does a lot of analysis. He's a pretty interesting guy. But Michael Dyson seemed to be doing exactly what his side of being politically correct is saying this should not do. It sounds uh, pretty hypocritical, but I believe he does stand on top of a sort of he stands on a wave of the left because this is mostly based on the matrix of domination, and this is actually what he was trying to explain when he was saying the reason he called Jordan Peterson a mean, angry white man. So he did come once after saying it, he kind of thought about what he had said for a little bit, but it did not. I guess it didn't. He wasn't able to just explain the theory of what he was using. I can do that for you right now. So, in the matrix of domination, you have things intersecting. You have race, class, gender, age, and there's hundreds of variables that intersect in order to create a person. And a person is only the intersection of all these variables, as Jordan Peterson tried to explain. So your identity is formed on being in one of these groups. So I can be black, I can be in the age group of 17, and I can be a man. And that is different than if I were black, a woman, and age 17. So I would make me be in another group. Even more interestingly, that's if I'm white, a woman, and I'm 17. So I would be in separate groups, which would help me identify me in the position of power, um, according to this hierarchy. So, if you really look at it, a the picture of a white, straight, older male is, according to this theory, is usually what is called the hegemony. So this is the class of people that have the most power. And if you are within that group, then you identify with a group that has prevailing power. So when Michael Dyson is calling Jordan Peterson a mean, white, angry man, he is not referring directly to the character he is talking about. He's referring to that category of people that he has just described. White man, and then the reason he can now attribute anger or meanness to it is that he is not he's not able to identify with the other side, but he is talking to them as if he knows the experience they have gone through. That's the assumption that Michael Dyson carries. It's his automatic assumption that you are not able to talk about any other person's experience of the world without having lived those experiences yourself. And so Jordan Peterson happens to talk about, let's say, political correctness and uh, people not. One of his big things was the pronouns case that went on in Canada, Bill C-16, where he was not able to, where he says it makes you not able to use certain words and government restricts your speech. And so for transgenders, this would be the case that he would have to use words such as zer, g, like all these ridiculous words, basically. Um, but Michael Dyson's case would be that he is being mean uh, because he is of a superior class that has the most power, and he is now restricting the ability of others to express themselves. So that's where we get mean from, and then we get angry from the fact that he is I guess he's going out and talking about this as if it were affecting him personally. Whereas in the matrix of domination, it is not possible to be for power to be taken away from you by someone that is below on the hierarchy. So someone cannot be racist towards you, someone cannot be sexist towards you. So if you look at it from the point of view of Michael Dyson, he is not being racist towards Jordan Peterson at that time because it is impossible for a person of color, a black man a black man to be racist against a white straight male because that person is higher in a position of power. So basically, um, he he's he's you cannot represent him as being racist for what he said. The left would agree with this. Everything that he said was fair because this is what is done to other people of different color, race, gender every single day by that class of people. So I hope I've been able to kind of explain where um, he where he thinks he was coming from, and he wasn't really able to explain that much himself. He went on pretty much a rant, uh, trying to explain why he is on the environmental turf of the white man, and he would like for him to come into a black community so that he could experience, I guess, experience how things are done there and have a sense of where he's coming from. But yeah, that still doesn't, it doesn't, you know, it just doesn't pass because he doesn't know anything about Jordan Peterson. So he does have to fall back on the main argument that is supported by the matrix of domination, um, as identified by extreme feminists and what has become characterized as feminism in general now, because it has seeped in into the normal movements. They don't really draw the lines anywhere anymore. And you can see when uh, Jordan Peterson was responding to, I forget her name, there was another lady on the panel, but he was responding to her, and he asked her, where does the left draw the line? And her response was, they draw the line at violence. And you see how that's just a very vague way, but it's something that they must say, because if you're part of that ideology, you're not allowed to criticize any other form of the ideology that people are having in your same group, if you see what I mean. Um, you're It can only end at violence, because if they were to say it ends when people start demanding fairness for people that have blue and pink toenails, then you would have to agree with it, because this is a class of people that you have not had their experience. So when you say no, well, having rights for people with blue and pink nails, I think that's going a little bit too far. You cannot say that if you're on the left now, because that is politically incorrect. So um, that's just to kind of give you an idea of how, uh, I guess, the melting pot that is now characterizing most of the left, and how they can't draw distinctions anymore, because everyone has to be right. Everyone is right. No one can be wrong. And we have to somehow bend the system in order to account for all these different feelings. And yeah, I think I'll end this video here. The Irrational Skeptic signing off.